Hello, Blue Nation. Welcome back to Investing in Tipton's Future. Today, we're taking a closer look at how Senate Enrolled Act 1 impacts properties in the 2% cap category. Things like rental homes, second homes, farmland, and other non-homestead residential property. Even if you don't own one of these properties, the changes matter for our entire community because they affect the local tax base, which impacts funding for schools, roads, and essential services. In Indiana, every property falls into one of three tax cap groups: 1% cap, owner occupied homes; 2% cap, farmland, rental homes, second homes, and some residential properties; 3% cap, which is commercial and industrial property. Today, we're focusing on the 2% group, which plays a big role in Tipton County's tax base, especially farmland. A tax cap means that for most taxes, these properties cannot be charged more than 2% of their net assessed value. The only exceptions are things voters approve directly, like a referendum or certain pre existing obligations. This keeps taxes predictable for property owners, but it also limits how much revenue local governments and schools can collect. This is where Senate Enrolled Act 1 makes a major change. Before Senate Enrolled Act 1, 2% properties, including farmland, did not receive homestead style deductions. Their taxable value was usually very close to their full assessed value after the agricultural soil formulas were applied. Under Senate Enrolled Act 1, beginning with the 2025 assessment, Indiana starts phasing in a new deduction specifically for the 2% tax cap category. This new deduction reduces the taxable value of these properties by a percentage that increases each year, eventually reaching 1/3 by 2031. Here's the simplified schedule. In 2026, it's about a 7% deduction. 2027, 14%. 28 is 21%. By 2029, it's 28%. By 2030, it's 30%. And then finally, by 2031 and thereafter, it's 33.3%. This means that by 2031, a rental home or farmland parcel will be taxed only about 2/3 of its assessed value. This is essentially a permanent statewide cut to the taxable value of the 2% property group. For property owners in this category, Senate Rule Act 1 provides substantial tax relief over the next several years. To make this real, let's look at a typical farmland parcel in Tipton County. On average, with Tipton County's soil productivity factors applied, farmland comes out to about $17,700 per acre. So if you take a 20-acre parcel, you get a gross assessed value of about $354,000. Under the old system, before Senate Rule Act 1, farmland didn't get major deductions, so the taxable value was the full $354,000. With the 2% tax cap, the maximum tax bill would be about $7,000. But under Senate Rule Act 1, when everything is fully phased in by 2031, that same parcel receives a 33% deduction, dropping its taxable value to roughly $236,000. Now, apply the same 2% cap, and the maximum tax falls to just about $4,700. That's a loss of about $2,300 in local revenue from just one 20-acre farmland parcel. Multiply that across hundreds of parcels in Tipton County, and you can see how Senate Rule Act 1 significantly shrinks the tax base that supports schools, emergency services, and local government. But, and this is the important part for the community, the other side of the equation is just as significant. When taxable value goes down across the county, the tax rate may increase automatically in certain funds to generate the revenue they are allowed by law. But in many cases, including schools, the rate cannot simply rise to offset the loss. That means real revenue loss unless voters approve changes. For Tipton schools, lower net assessed values mean lower operations fund revenue. Remember, the operations fund pays for transportation, building, maintenance, utilities, safety and security, and technology infrastructure. To sum this all up, Senate Rule Act 1 creates a new growing deduction for properties in the 2% tax cap category. Even though farmland isn't in the 1% group, the total value of farmland in Tipton County is far larger than the value of all owner-occupied homes combined. So even small changes to 2% property have large-scale effects on the county-wide tax base. By 2031, these properties will be taxed on only about 2/3 of their assessed value. This represents substantial tax relief for farmland and rental property owners, especially as the percentage deduction increases. But for our school, city, and county, it means a smaller tax base and less revenue to maintain essential services. Thanks for joining us for this week's installment of our Investing in Tipton's Future video series. As always, if you have any specific questions or topic requests, please reach out to me or Dr. Glaze. You can also find more resources and our video playlists on our district website under the Future Focus tab. Our next episode will look at how Senate Enrolled Act 1 impacts our commercial property taxes, like business personal property. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next installment of our Investing in Tipton's Future.